Alright, class, good morning. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be there in class today, but lucky for you, you have Miss Emmer there to help you through things. So the way this assignment's going to work is I'm going to go through the problem on the board here. Between steps, I will count to 10, not out loud, that'd be foolish, so that you guys can write things down, and if needed, you can ask Miss Emmer to pause the recording and allow people to catch up. Also, if someone in the class is struggling and you can help them, that's fine. If you go help them, maybe you see what they did wrong in their math on the page, and that could be gratefully helpful. So I'm really depending on you guys to help each other. That said, let's begin going through the problem. Remember, you can pause it whenever you need to. So number 1 here on 560, we've got a couple charges here that tell us that we have one charge. It's 2, this is nanocoulombs times 10 to the negative 9th, and that is placed at the origin. And a second charge is 4 nanocoulombs, that is placed at the 1.5 meter mark. Then a third charge here goes somewhere in the middle. We don't know exactly where. Now, going through our process, we learned yesterday or the day before, whichever day, that the force between 1 and 2 must be equal to the force between 3 and 2. If we call these 1, 2, and 3. Here, let me grab these little labels here. Charge 1, charge 2, charge 3. 2 being my middle charge here today. And what we need to do then is grab our Coulomb's law then and set it underneath like this. Alright. Go ahead and write that down. Alright, so our next step is to cancel out our, to make our equation fit what we're doing here. Let me ungroup here. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to block out a distance here because we need to set our distances right. And if this is distance 1, 3, then this distance here is the 1.5 meters minus distance 1, 3. Therefore, this goes where that was, because 1.5 meters minus distance 1, 3 is equal to distance 3, 2, and of course that quantity gets squared. Let's pause. Now it's time to cancel out like terms. So like terms that we see are our Coulomb's constant. Put a little no sign there. Our charge 2, which is our middle charge, that's a like term. Charge 1 and distance 1, 3 and charge 3 and this expression are not like terms, but we have another like term right there and another like term right there. So that's good. So why don't you get that jotted down. And our next step is now to begin the whole solving process here. So let's set that up. So what we have is 2 for charge 1 over the distance. Grab my divide, and I need another squared here, so let's write that, distance squared, and bring this expression down. That goes there. Squared comes along, and the 4. And one mistake I made was not making an equal sign, so let me real quick make an equal sign. Boom. There we go. We've got an equal sign. So make sure that yours matches what I just did. Excellent. Our next step is probably going to be, I mean, we could cross multiply or we could square root. I certainly don't care which one you do. My preference is always to cross multiply first. So that means I'm going to take here and multiply. And you'll have to excuse any drawing I do by hand because I'm using a mouse, not an ActivePen because I'm at home. So we'll cross multiply like that. And I'm going to pause the recording and reset that while you redraw it. Alright, there it is. So I just cross multiplied. And your next step after you cross multiply is to use the overenthusiastic square root sign. Alright, and then you gotta do a little bit of math with that. Go ahead and you guys can pause the recording while you go through the math. You know, somebody can volunteer an answer. We could write that up on the paper. Maybe no, don't write it on the board. I'll just write it here. But go ahead and do the math. I'll kind of quietly scratch a few things out here. And once you do your square rooting, that's what you're left with. Now it's time to do a little bit of multiplying. We have to distribute the square root of 2 here, 1.41 times 1.5, and throw that in right there as well. So let's do our math there and see what pops up. Alright, so there's the math that I got right there. Kind of elevate our work so we have a little more room for solving. And our next step will be to add our like terms. So we're going to add the 1 point. Ooh, I mistyped. That should be 0.41. 1.41. Add the 1.41 over to here and get 3.41. So it's going to be the 2.2. 2.2 equals trust me, I know what I'm doing here. Equals 3.41D, and then of course we need to divide by 3.41, and survey says if you were to multiply divide rather 2.2 divided by 3.41 equals, the question is, what do you get? And if your answer is magically if you got that, then you're right. 0.65. Alright, if you guys have questions, this video will be up on the website, and you can review it at your own pace on your own time. I'm also going to do number 2 next, so Miss Emmer will of course play that one for you as well.